shocking truth did you discover about a person you thought you knew? For nearly 5 years, I worked side by side with Jack Turner, a guy who carried himself with the kind of quiet grit you'd expect from an ex-Marine. We were in construction, a small crew in a mid-sized company that built houses in the suburbs of Ohio. Jack was the kind of coworker you could count on, always early, never complained, and had a knack for fixing problems before they became disasters. He wasn't loud or showy, just solid. We'd spend long days framing houses, pouring concrete, or hauling materials. And over time we got close. Not best friends, exactly, but the kind of bond you form when you're sweating through 12-hour shifts together, sharing bad coffee and worse jokes. Jack had this dry sense of humor that crept up on you. He'd toss out one-liners about the weather or the boss's terrible planning, and you'd be laughing before you even realized it. He never talked much about his time. In the Marines, though, if you asked, he'd shrug and say something like, "It was just a job, man. Did my time, got out." I figured he'd seen some stuff he didn't want to revisit, so I never pushed. He'd mention bits and pieces, training in the desert, some buddies he'd lost touch with, but nothing deep. I respected that. A guy like Jack didn't know anyone's life story. We worked together on everything. Framing walls, installing drywall, even the occasional plumbing nightmare. He was strong as hell, always lugging around heavy equipment without breaking a sweat. I never noticed anything off about him physically. He moved like everyone else, maybe a little more deliberate, but nothing that screamed different. He wore work boots, jeans, and a beat-up Carhartt jacket most days, blending in with the rest of us. If he was slower on ladders or winced when he stood up, I chalked it up to age or old injuries. Construction beats you up, you know? We all had aches. It wasn't until my last day on the job that everything changed. I was moving on to a different company, one closer to home, and I was wrapping things up. We were finishing a roof on a 2-story house, and I needed an extra hand with some heavy shingles. I called over to Jack, who was organizing tools nearby. "Hey man, can you give me a lift with these?" He looked over with that half smirk. He always had. "Oh, sure. Ask the guy with one leg to haul your crap." I laughed. Jack was always messing around like that, throwing out random comments to catch you off guard. "You're right," I said. "You're full of shit, Jack." He didn't say anything at first, just gave me this look like he was deciding something. Then he grabbed a hammer from his tool belt, bent down, and smacked it hard against his shin. Clang. The sound wasn't right. It wasn't the dull thud of flesh and bone. It was metal, sharp, and unmistakable. My stomach dropped. I thought he was screwing with me. Maybe he had some kind of prank rigged up. Jack was the type to pull something like that and laugh about it later. "Bullshit," I said, still grinning but starting to feel uneasy. "What's that? Some kind of trick?" He raised an eyebrow, then reached down and tugged up the leg of his jeans. I froze. There, where his right shin should have been, was a prosthetic leg, sleek, metallic, and very real. The socket was fitted just below his knee, and the pylon extended down to his work boot. I stood there, mouth open, trying to process it. 5 years. 5 years of working together, eating lunch together, shooting the shit, and I had no idea. "You're kidding me," I managed to say. "How the hell did I not know this?" Jack just shrugged, pulling his pant leg back down. "Never came up," he said, like it was no big deal. Didn't think it mattered. I didn't know what to say. I felt like an idiot, but also like I'd been letting on something huge. "Man, you're unreal." I said finally. "All this time, and you're out here working circles around me with that?" He chuckled, a low rumble. "You think a leg's gonna stop me? Come on, grab those shingles. We got work to do." That was Jack. No drama, no pity party. Just a guy who'd lost a leg, probably in the Marines, though he never confirmed it, and kept going like it was just another Tuesday. I spent the rest of the day replaying every moment I could remember, trying to spot some clue I'd missed. The way he moved, the way he never complained about long hours on his feet, the way he grunt when he stood up but never made a fuss. It all made sense now, but I still couldn't believe I'd been so clueless. When we parted ways that evening,